Christmas, Ravens fans. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on Ravens Rundown. Hopefully Santa brings you all the good gifts, including a Ravens win on Monday Night Football as they match up with the San Francisco 49ers in what many are dubbing the game of the year in the National Football League. Two of the top seeds in the respective conferences of the AFC and the NFC, a potential Super Bowl preview of sorts between these two very talented teams that come in with the same record and are trying to clinch home field advantage in both conferences as well. Let's take a look at the playoff picture. As of Sunday morning, the Ravens are the number one seed with an 11-3 record, and they've already clinched a playoff spot and have a chance to potentially clinch the division with a win as well. The Dolphins at 10-4 in the 2 spot, Chiefs at 9-5 in the 3 spot. They could still get home field advantage in the AFC. The Jags at 8-6, the 4 hole. And then you see the Browns at the 5, Bills at 9-6, Colts at 8-6, and a lot of contenders still in the hunt at this point here with just a few weeks left to go. So, you want the Ravens to beat the 49ers? Here's what I need you to do. Like today's video. Don't jinx it. Let's do our part to make sure we get that Ravens win and send some good vibes the direction of your Baltimore Ravens and for Santa Claus as well. Hit the like button and we'll continue here on today's show. Let's start with the injury report for the Ravens. Good news for Baltimore. The injury report is not very lengthy, as Jalyn Armour-Davis, Arthur Maulet, and Zay Flowers are the most notable. No Zay Flowers this week for the Baltimore Ravens. Kyle Hamilton at full strength, though. So a lot of pressure on that receiving core to kind of figure it out without their top threat there in Zay Flowers. But OBJ's been playing really good as of late, as is Isaiah Likely. More on him later. The Niners, meanwhile, are a little more banged up as they're going to be out Armstead, Burks, and Jennings. Most notably, their biggest injury is without Javon Hargrave at the inside. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, and he is questionable. We'll see ultimately if he plays or not for San Francisco, but that could be a big game changer if Hargrave does not ultimately give it a go for San Fran. We'll get to our keys to victory here in just a bit, also by prediction at the end of today's show. But I want to hear from you guys first. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Weigh in the comments section and tell us how you think this game is ultimately going to play out. Keys to victory. Let's begin with Christian McCaffrey, the star running back for the San Francisco 49ers, the best running back in the National Football League, has been a problem for all opposing defenses that he's faced this season, whether it's the ground attack or the receiving game. Christian McCaffrey is a true dual threat, and the San Francisco 49ers offense starts and ends with Christian McCaffrey. I know that Brock Purdy is getting the MVP consideration, but you can't talk about somebody being more valuable in this Niners team than McCaffrey at the running back spot and his starting left tackle, Trent Williams, the best left tackle of all time, leading the way there. And this Niners team, they are going to do whatever they can to just pound that rock time and time again and get McCaffrey as many touches as they can. If the ground game's not there, they'll get him involved in the passing game somehow as well. What the Ravens can do, their best shot to slow down this San Francisco 49ers offense is minimize the impact of Christian McCaffrey as much as humanly possible. If they can do that, they can be in good shape here to get a victory. And we've seen the Ravens defense play pretty well throughout the season. McCaffrey going to be the focus this week. Isaiah Likely, we've talked a lot about him on this program over the last several weeks since he stepped in for Mark Andrews. And I got to tell you, in the 10 games that he's played this season, he's been nothing short of spectacular. In particular, the games that he filled in as the starting tight end for Mark Andrews, this offense hasn't missed a beat at that tight end position with Isaiah Likely leading the charge. And the thing about it, too, is the comfortability that we've seen from Lamar Jackson with Isaiah Likely, that he treats him as if he's the same guy as Mark Andrews, essentially. He's running the same routes. He's asked to do the same assignments, and we've seen success from Isaiah Likely at a high level. And we also saw Charlie Kolar get a little bit involved last week as well. So we know Lamar loves getting the ball to the middle of the field to his tight ends. That doesn't change without Mark Andrews. And with no Zay Flowers this week, This is a huge game for Isaiah Likely to have a big game and get involved for this Ravens team. I look for him to show up and show out for Baltimore. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You pick 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less at prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. And whether you're talking the likes of, let's say, the NFL, the NBA, college football, it's all easy to play with Prize Picks. And I got to tell you, I've won big with Prize Picks. I know you can win big with Prize Picks too. The best gift that Santa can deliver you, besides the Ravens win tomorrow, is by winning some money on Prize Picks. Play along with us. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Get that $100 deposit match when you use the promo code CLNS. Prize Picks, proud partner of Ravens Rundown here by Chat Sports. Check them out today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Pressure on Brock Purdy, going to be a big key for the Baltimore Ravens. We mentioned how good this San Francisco 49ers offensive line is. And with that in mind, it is going to be quite the challenge ahead to try to go after Purdy and minimize his impact of some sorts. And think about this. It's real simple for this Baltimore Ravens team this season. They are undefeated, 4-0, when they sack the opposing quarterback more than 3 times in a game. That's best of any team in the National Football League. So it's real simple. If you're the Ravens, you get pressure on the quarterback, you win. And we've seen how well these pass rushers have looked throughout the season. Even guys that they brought in on cheap veteran contracts like Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney, all of them have played well and done a really good job collectively, where you haven't been able to double team anybody because you have too many good pass rushers to slow down. So they have their work cut out going against a good San Francisco offensive line. But that's going to be the key, to go after Purdy and see what they can do to get those extra sacks if they can. No Keaton Mitchell. He is done for the rest of 2023. The Gus bus is as important as ever right now. Remember, at the beginning of the season when J.K. Dobbins went out, we all called upon Gus Edwards to step up, that he was going to lead the charge. And Gus Edwards has been your top running back for this team. But with the emergence of Keaton Mitchell, with the way that he stepped up and performed, that made things easier on Gus Edwards. Well, now you don't have Keaton Mitchell either. And it's interesting because he and Mitchell had this thunder and lightning combination going on of some sorts, where Keaton Mitchell was your burner and the Gus bus was able to just pound it inside and get those extra yardage. Maybe not the fastest guy, but able to push those opposing defenses, right? If you're Gus Edwards now, maybe you're not going to have the breakaway runs that Keaton Mitchell has. But if you can get just that extra yard or two and really just try to wear down these defenses, yes, the run game kind of changes a bit without Keaton Mitchell involved, but I would say the workload of Gus Edwards is going to go up quite a bit. He's important now as he's been all season. Watch out for Gus Edwards to have a big day potentially for this Ravens team. Who's the player that needs to step up for Baltimore? I mentioned Gus Edwards. What about you guys? Who's the guy that comes to mind? Weigh in that comment section. Tell us who you think. A reminder, we will be live here on Ravens Rundown for our Christmas night watch party between the Ravens and the 49ers. Our coverage will begin about 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. Big Tex is going to be here with me as well. Don't miss out. Ravens-Niners live right here on the channel. It'll be a great time. I can promise you that much. Spend your Christmas night with us. You won't regret it. Subscribe now and join us. We'll see you then. You're a main one, Mr. Grinch. You know, I was watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas the other night, and what a terrific film, by the way. Jim Carrey, one of his best roles. And, you know, we all know about the Grinch, and not to spoil the movie if you haven't seen it, although it's been out for 20-plus years, so I don't feel too bad. But the Grinch obviously goes in the middle of the night, going and taking all the presents and all that, right? If you're the Baltimore Ravens, with as close as these two teams are, you have to do what you can to be the Grinch and steal an extra possession, to do what you can to create those turnovers. And one thing that we've seen from the Ravens, think about this, they have struggled when it comes to forcing fumbles this year. As well as this defense has played, they've only forced 1 fumble on 323 carries by their opponents. That's dead last in the NFL this year. So if you're the Ravens, interceptions are nice, obviously, and you got guys that like Geno Stone and others have done a good job with that. But if you can create an extra turnover, focusing in particular on swatting that ball out and get a fumble recovery that way, that could go a long way as far as that goes for this Ravens team of creating those forced fumbles there. So, to recap, our keys to a Ravens victory: slowing down McCaffrey, continuing to get Isaiah Likely involved, pressure on Brock Purdy, get the Gus bus going with Gus Edwards, and then Grinch away in extra possession. If the Ravens do those things, they'll be in good shape. Ultimately, if I'm going to be real with y'all, the Ravens have their work cut out for them the last few weeks, and they're going to slip up somewhere. I would be shocked if they won out over these next few weeks. I think tomorrow, unfortunately, is where the loss comes in of these next few weeks. I think the Ravens win their next two, but this one is where I think they slip up. The Niners are so good. They're at home. I think the Niners win a close one, 24-20. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Weigh in the comment section and let us know what you think. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We'll see you tomorrow night right here on Ravens Run.